Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about business identity. So, yesterday I found myself at Chuck E. Cheese for a birthday party. And if you guys don't know what Chuck E. Cheese is, you can go look that up. It's basically, one of those it's a pizza restaurant with it's basically a pizza restaurant geared at kids. They got like games and all this other stuff. But what I noticed was, first of all, the first thing I noticed at Chuck E. Cheese was, because I hadn't been there for a long time. I hadn't been there for years. My kids are a little older, and I just hadn't been there for a long time. It's probably been 5+ years since I've been there. But what I noticed right off the bat was that they had taken out their animatronics. They used to have these animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese. They're like these kind of robots, but they would look like cartoon characters, kind of. And they were just kind of neat, When I was a kid, that place was not called Chuck E. Cheese. It was called Showbiz Pizza. And they had animatronics. And I thought they were the coolest thing in the world when I was a kid. And they're like these robots, So anyways, flash forward a few years after that, and they changed the name to Chuck E. Cheese, and I guess Chuck E. Cheese bought Showbiz Pizza to get into the business, and it doesn't matter. The point is, even after their Chuck E. Cheese, they had animatronics. It was like a big part of their thing. And the animatronics, they would be on stage, and they would play songs and stuff. And it was just cool. It was a part of the thing. Another part of the thing was they had this kind of indoor playground for kids. And then they had all the video games and skee ball and all this other stuff. So the first thing I noticed yesterday was they got rid of their animatronics. It was completely gone. They just had a big screen up there at the front where that stage used to be. And it was different, It just wasn't the same. It was not the same. And another thing I noticed was the little indoor playground they used to have was gone. They completely got rid of that. So I noticed that they had changed a lot. And I noticed that they had moved from tokens. They used to you put your money in and get a bunch of tokens, and then when you won at the games, you won tickets, and then you could change the tickets in for prizes and stuff. This is for the kids, So, but anyways, so what I noticed was, so the animatronics were gone, the indoor playground for the kids was gone, the ticket token system, that was all gone. Now it was a card, and the card, it awarded you e-tickets, is how that worked. So it was all electronic, it was all on this card. But I noticed all these changes, and then another thing I noticed, and this was very telling, another thing I noticed was that it was completely dead in there. Completely dead in there. It was completely dead in there. There was nobody else there except, our party. That place was dead. We had the whole place to ourselves. Like literally not a single customer except for us. And I was like thinking, and I'm just like, being in business for myself, I was just kind of thinking about how, how could this be? Like the last time I was at Chuck E. Cheese, it was packed, full of people. Now, nobody's in there. And I was thinking, like, to me, it seemed somewhat obvious that Chuck E. Cheese had lost their identity. And I tell you, I think it started with getting rid of those animatronics. Now, I don't know this to be true. I don't know this for a fact. But I think they got rid of those animatronics because of the whole, like, Five Nights at Freddy's thing. A few years back, there was this video game. It was like a horror game. And it was based on, like, animatronics like that at a restaurant. It basically seemed like Chuck E. Cheese, but the animatronics were, like, scary and haunted and stuff. So I think that game, it was popular with the kids. So then real life Chuck E. Cheese, like, maybe it was scaring the kids, or they were worried it was going to scare the kids. So they said, God, you know what? Time to update our image. Let's get rid of these animatronics. I personally think they should have done the opposite. I think they should have leaned into the animatronics. Should have leaned into those animatronics. Should have kept the token system in place. Should have kept their indoor playground in place. Sure, update that stuff. Update the animatronics. Update the indoor playground. But, just getting rid of all that stuff. Like, it doesn't even feel like the same place. You know what it feels like? It feels like a corporate version of that place. It's almost like, you walk into a McDonald's and you're in a McDonald's. McDonald's continues to update themselves. But when you walk in there, it still feels like a McDonald's. So it's almost like, imagine if you got rid of all the McDonald's on the planet. And then, you had this business that was like full of offices and stuff. And you're like, you know what? We want to kind of like do something to bring back McDonald's a little bit. So you take a space in your office building and you open up a McDonald's. But this one doesn't have like the golden arches, right? It has like a poster of the golden arches on the wall. It doesn't have McDonald's hamburgers. It's got like regular hamburgers with like, printed off McDonald's wrapping paper. So, it's all just like not what it used to be, right? It's like a pale imitation of what it used to be. So anyone who had ever been to a McDonald's would walk in. Sorry about that. I dropped my phone. Anyone who had ever walked into a McDonald's, would walk into your like copy of McDonald's and say, this is interesting, but it doesn't really feel like a McDonald's. It feels like some kind of pale imitation of a McDonald's or something. That's kind of how it was at Chuck E. Cheese. And the point is, you can make so many changes in your business that you can lose the identity of what your business is. And I think, to me, that was on display at Chuck E. Cheese. The business was way, way down. And I went to Google after that and looked at like busy times for Chuck E. Cheese. And it was like pretty much every day of the week was flat except for Saturday. And Saturday picked up. But in my mind, I'm thinking, every night of the week should be up. And I understand that in the daytime, kids are at school. But, Kids have birthdays every day of the week, To me, every day of the week should pick up in the evening. And like if I was running that place and it wasn't picking up in the evening every single day of the week, I'd be doing something. Some kind of gimmick, something. I tell you what they could do easily to bring business back up. Bring back the animatronics, Bring in that nostalgia factor. A nostalgia factor, man. Nostalgia's big these days. I think a lot of nostalgia has been fueled by streaming services looking for content. So you got all new generations getting exposed to old shows they would have never got exposed to otherwise. And then you got older generations remembering stuff that they used to watch when they were younger because of the streaming services, because it's available. Whereas otherwise they would have probably just forgotten about it. So I think nostalgia is a big deal these days, and it's being fueled by streaming services. So to me, again, I'd be leaning into nostalgia if I was Chuck E. Cheese. Now I understand a few years ago there was a pandemic going on. People were really weird about touching, they're really weird about germs, didn't want to touch tokens and stuff like that. I get it. So I understand the card. I understand how the card makes sense. But I tell you what, man, I would still try to find a way to lean into nostalgia if I was Chuck E. Cheese. Do better advertising too, Really, really trumpet some good deals for kids when it's their birthday. Get families in there, That's what I think, But anyways, the point of all this is just to say that, if you're out there right now and you want to start an online business or you're running an online business, think about, your business identity. Think about what it is. Are you an information publishing company? Do you publish, info products about making money online? Do you sell PLR? Do you cover a multitude of subjects in your PLR? Do you sell physical print books? What is it that you do? What's the identity of your business? What are some key factors that kind of help determine what your identity is? Because, with Chuck E. Cheese, those animatronics were really part of the USP for a long time. One of the unique selling propositions of Chuck E. Cheese is that they had these really interesting robots in the front of the place. Now, I will tell you, in the 80s, that was novelty. It was interesting. Now, admittedly, in 2024, that's not as interesting as it used to be. That might seem like old hat. But what I think Chuck E. Cheese fails to realize is there's a mega nostalgia factor to those animatronics. Now they're interesting for a different reason. Not because they're space age or new, but because they're almost like something from days gone by. So they're interesting for a different reason, but it doesn't mean that they're not interesting. See what I'm saying? So to me, it's a lack of awareness for your business identity. And I think that has definitely affected their business because it didn't seem like the same place to me. It seemed like something different, So again, I just say, think about your business identity. Think about what it is. And, try not to change with every hot trend. There's a lot of businesses out there right now, and I talked about this in previous episodes. There's a lot of businesses out there right now who I feel like are losing their business identity because of AI, They're letting AI have far, far too much control over their content. And they are, losing their business identity because of it. Their content doesn't have the same edge it used to have. Doesn't have the same feel. It's like walking into some kind of corporate Chuck E. Cheese or something. That's kind of a funny analogy because Chuck E. Cheese is corporate. But it doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying. Anyways, something to think about here. And hope you guys are doing awesome out there. If this content's resonated with you, be sure to get over to epicconversions.com, epicconversions.com, and join my free newsletter. right? I email about 3 to 6 times a week. I like to think I put my best free content out by email. So if this content resonates with you, be sure to get over there and join my email list. Another good benefit for joining my email list is I don't sell products to anybody except people on my email list. So if you're not on my email list, you're not going to be aware of products that I'm selling. For example, I just wrapped up a launch for an information product. It was an audio training, and it was called Profit Train Emails. It teaches you how to write 25 different styles of emails, for profit. Really cool training, very helpful to people who live and die by their email marketing, or for people who aspire to make their money with email marketing. Before that, I had published the first ever print book for Epic Conversions. It's called 13 Obstacles. It was talking about, 13. I surveyed my list a couple months before that, and I culminated all that list. I collated the whole thing, all those questions and answers, and 13 of those answers for what was holding people back, they kept on popping up over and over and over again. So I formed that book around answering those 13 questions because, I have faced all those 13 problems in my business. I've faced all of them and overcame all of them. So I felt very uniquely qualified to answer those questions. So that was my first ever print book. That was limited edition. So you can't get that book anymore. So don't think I'm sitting here trying to, pitch it to you. I'm not. It's off the market. But 189 pages. Not too long of a read. But the point is, the only people who got offered that book was people on my email list. The only people who got offered Profit Train emails is the people on my email list. So again, like this year, especially 2024, I'm really big into this thing where I don't promote to people who are not on my email list. So if like I said, if you resonate with this content that I'm putting out here right now on Thoughts on a Walk, I highly suggest you get on my email list because that is where I make my offers for paid products. So anyways, that's all I got. Hope you're doing well out there. And I'll see you in the inbox. Peace.